The reverted Zerg guy has a YouTube channel? Oh shit, hold on, wait, I have to see this now if this is actually true.
For all you muzzy wuzzies out there, my Sharia friends, I mean, the United Kingdom buddies, I want you to know this is a warning, okay? When Trump is elected, the wall's not gonna stop at Mexico, alright? The wall is forever and it is eternal. It will branch out to every corner of this planet. Every corner of this planet. Every corner of this planet, and nobody will be safe from the wall. Not even you, my my Arabic Brit-Bongastanian friendos, okay? So you just check your privilege, because in a little while we're gonna check it for you, alright? We're gonna build a huge wall, and we're gonna respect your border, okay? We're gonna respect your border, buddy. We're gonna build that wall around your island, and the waters are gonna go.
Oh, and you're a meme spammer too. Old enough to bury my dick so far in your mom's spot that not even King Arthur. Oh, and you even quote Reddit memes. That's epic, dude.
Stagnant, because you know those packies that you're importing, they don't like to use toilets, buddy. So get used to having poop in your water, and guess what? Guess what's gonna happen? We're gonna pour all our waste into there, and it's gonna be our public dumping ground. Okay, so you know, migrate to the United States while you still can, because things are about to start kicking up, and it's going to be great. Okay, Trump's going to win. Hey, fellas, so this isn't going to be funny. This isn't going to be clever. This is going to be the truth, okay? This is the truth, and for all you twink faggots out there who, you know...
Oh, he's just trying to make the videos that are like, somebody's tried to have the Sam Hyde guy, the mirror recordings. And the business cut dude, the skunk pace. I think he's trying to do is like, I think he's trying to make this kind of video. I have to sign in. Are you serious?
This video is for all you stupid fucking trolls and haters online, saying mean and hurtful things about fedoras. It's class, and class is for men and swag is for boys. But you wouldn't know shit about that, fucking haters.
Huh. I'm not just bullying a random person in chat, sorry. I only bring it up because this guy's been like hardcore trashing me for the past like hour. Trying like hardcore to get me to, I guess, argue with him. Does anyone else feel bad for Destiny's son growing up with a nerd father? Video games are for people who have nothing else they would rather be doing. He has a son he should be doing. What does that even mean? I make at most 5K a month. That's nothing if you're attempting to raise a family. What does that even mean? 5,000 a month in Nebraska is a decent amount of money. Being a populist. What does that even mean? That's not even what populist mean. Do you even know what that means? For a living is one step away from giving blowjobs for a living. That's quite the meme. Alright, anyway. Do you want to Skype about it? No, what? Why would I give you more attention than you? Fuck off. I'm not gonna give you that much attention. Chill out, calm down, bro. Kind of work. If you donate $20 to Destiny right now, I'll give you my Skype. What? If you donate $20 to me, I'll have a I'll talk to you on Skype if you really want to, buddy. Someone has to donate 20 to Destiny? No, you have to donate 20 to me. No one else. I want 20 of your dollars if you want to. If you want, I know how much you want this fucking attention. If you want the attention, you have to pay me for it, okay? That's how it works, dog. Not any other random person. Twitch alerts isn't working? Texas order, it should be.
This is the dankest dungeon.
Okay, dog, here you go. Promise not to revise charges you'll use.
I don't think that was actually him that donated. Reverted Zerg, send me a whisper with the email address you used to do that donation, and if it was you, we'll do it. It was my mom's email? Sure, just send me a message with whatever the email was. You took too long. Now the person that donated you has already probably whispered you and told you the email. Do I really want to do this? I feel like I'm sending the wrong message by talking to people like this on stream. Like if you act like a retard, like that's the easiest way to talk to me. You talk to Kongi on purpose. What am I doing right now? I don't know. I guess I'm going to talk to this guy that is telling me my whole life is a waste of...
Truly, this is The dankest dungeon.
Alright, here's the plan. You unban ADHD, I don't donate $20 for this kid, and then we play some more Doom and spam over Russell M in chat. Please.
I'll run around and do this level while I talk to him, don't worry.
Hey, what's up, Destiny?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm sorry to cause such a ruckus on your stream, but, you know, I just couldn't help myself. I mean, when I see these people watching your video game channel, it makes me think back to when I was a kid and all the time I wasted playing StarCraft trying to be as good as you. And, you know, that's where I'm coming from right now.
What are you, that playing games is just a complete and total waste of time?
Well, not for you per se, but I think a lot of people, especially when they're younger in their early teens, they get into this idea that it is possible, like it's not unrealistic to expect somebody like you know, just some random person who just plays video games every now and then to be as successful as you are at playing video games. Yeah, nobody really.
You don't think that like the average person can't just play and have fun? That there are
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's about what you consider to be a good investment. Now, I'm not saying people who don't understand or people who are ignorant about the future of their time spent on video games, or like what that's going to cause them, the opportunity cost of playing video games. I'm not saying that it's not a fun way to pass the time. I'm just saying that a lot of people, they dig a hole where, like in my case, I only recently started playing piano, and I'm thinking back, damn, if I had just, instead of playing those 2,400 games of StarCraft 2 1v1, I could have been like a piano grandmaster, you know what I mean?
Okay, so a couple things. Firstly, do you think, there are so many things. Okay, I guess firstly, why do you think being good at piano has any more intrinsic value than being good at a video game?
Well, you could, well, I suppose, let me think. Well, there's more real life application to it. If you're good at piano, there's more likelihood that if you were going to look at it as like a monetary sort of standpoint, if you're even capable of playing a couple songs on piano, there's always something you can do to make money just with a piano, or maybe impress some friends. With StarCraft,
people have been playing music since the dawn of time, and people have only just recently started doing video games professionally. I would almost be willing to make the argument that it's easier to make a living on video games than it is on music, and that's coming from somebody that went to school with music. Do you think that if you could just hammer out a few songs on the piano, there's an actual viable monetary path forward for you?
No, I just think that it's extremely unlikely for somebody to play video games and expect to get anything out of like fun times. That's what I said. You can have fun times with video games.
Sure, but I think that you could say the exact same about studying piano.
Yeah. Okay, you're completely right. That was a bad example for me to make. But I could. I'll change up the example since you proved that I'm wrong. What if I was learning a trade, per se? That would have been opportunity costs, wasted because I was playing video games instead of working on the trade.
Yep, that's 100% true. So do you think that every single person should dedicate 100% of their time to learning a trade? Or some kind of thing that will have like some hyper applicable thing to the rest of their like financial future, that you should dedicate 100% of your free time towards learning things that will help you financially?
I mean,
probably not, right?
Ideally, you would have an in-between where you can do something like what you have, which is make money and doing something you enjoy.
But even for people that do things, I don't get paid to go to the park with my kid. I don't get paid to masturbate. I don't get paid to go to restaurants and eat good food. Like, I do a lot of things that are still fun for me that I don't get paid to do. I think that most people can agree that there's like, you can do things that are fun that don't contribute directly financially to your future, and even though there is an opportunity cost associated with doing a fun activity, right? You're not learning a trade, you're not bettering yourself financially or whatever, there are still payoffs that come with doing those things, even if they're not direct like financial payoffs. Things like personal happiness and personal satisfaction with your life are very real things, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree with what you're saying. I'm trying to make the point that there are high expectations of what you're going to get through playing video games, and the hedonist approach of I'm doing it because it's fun now, or even if it's just innocent, it's I don't know what I would be better or I don't know what I should be doing instead, or I don't know a better way, or this is what occupies my time right now and I enjoy it, so I'll keep doing it. Now, I'm not saying, like I said, enjoyment is not bad. It's just the amount of time people put on it. And to be a professional StarCraft 2 player, you have to have a lot of time invested into
Here's
it.
$5
and
for the masturbation
a lot of people,
fund.
they try and go for that.
I feel like you're taking a really small subset of people and you're extrapolating that behavior to the whole, and that's where your criticism is coming from. I don't think that most people play games because they think that they're going to become a professional. I mean, I'm sure there are some out there, and I'm sure that there are some people out there that take it to an unhealthy extreme, but that kind of addictive thing can happen with literally anything. People could watch too many movies, or they become obsessed with food and become obese. They could become obsessed with pornography and masturbate their entire day away until they rot. They could become obsessed with, there's a ton of different things.
He was already
that,
stumped. This kid isn't worth it, Destiny.
There are a ton of different things
I single-handedly prove that video games are more profitable than music. I can't pirate a video game, stream Peppy.
Alright, sorry. There are a ton of things that you can like sink a ton of time into in an unhealthy manner. Like addiction can happen with anything. I don't think it's unique to video games. It can happen with alcohol or drugs too.
Yeah. But is it okay though? That's my point. Is like, yeah, sure.
Is it okay to be unhealthily addicted to something to the point to where it has real world impacts on your life and implications for your future? No, of course not. But again, that's not unique to video games. That can happen with a ton of different things.
Well, I know it's not unique to video games, but here's my biggest sort of what would you call it? A detest of video games is, or not video games. Sorry, this current platform that you're streaming on is that people are watching you play video games. I know it's in your best interest for people to watch you play video games, which is why I was expecting you to ban me, and I just don't think this is a productive use of anybody's time. Now, obviously, you're just chilling. Like, I watch you sometimes because it reminds me of the good old days back when StarCraft 2 was fun. And I imagine there's other people like that as well. But this is like, you might as well be masturbating. You might as well be beating your dick because you're not getting anything done. You're just having a little bit of fun, but, it's all, I don't know.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but I thought, did we just agree that it's okay to have a little bit of fun? You don't have to spend 100% of your time in your life towards learning a trade or bettering yourself financially. Like, it's okay to just do things that are just fun, that don't have, like, any kind of financial payoff or whatever in the future, no?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I don't know. No, I'm saying you're completely right, and I completely agree with that. I know a lot of these people are not going to be spending a large amount of time on your stream. A lot of these people are casual, but I don't know. I just said everything that I pretty much actually I agree with everything you've said so far. It's just that verbatim. I'm not articulating it well enough, I guess.
Okay, well, the reason why I pulled you in here is because you sound like you're being reasonable now, but you were making really hyperbolic statements in my chat, like green text, people above the age of 16 buying video games, with the implication there being that no one above age 16 should ever be playing video games ever. Would you agree that that's a fair interpretation of that statement? Video games are for people who have nothing else they would rather be doing.
Yes.
But I don't think you agree with that, right? Now that we've talked, right? It's okay to play games and to have fun and do other things, right? If I went to a movie to watch, or if I went to the movies to see the Civil War Captain America shit, am I only watching movies because I have nothing else I would rather be doing? Like,
no, you would, right? I mean, you don't do something you wouldn't want to do.
Yeah, but you're making that sound like that's an intrinsically bad thing. Firstly, and secondly, maybe there are other things I like to do, but it's not like a false dilemma. It's not like you can only play a video game and then do nothing else with your life. Like, you can play a video game and, study piano, or you can go watch a movie and hang out with your son. Like, you don't have to spend 100% of your time doing one thing.
But okay, all right. Now you just reminded me what my main point was. The point was this is not going to transfer over to any other facet of your life. You might be a little bit happier for a little bit. You might have some good memories, but this is not going to transfer over to your success as a person. And this approach of being happy and it's okay because I'm happy, that doesn't lead you anywhere in the future. I mean, it makes you accept it, I guess, but you're, like I said, the opportunity cost is there, and as soon as you start going, well, I'm doing it because it makes me happy, then, when does it end? Are you?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna take a few guesses, okay? And you have to be really honest, and I'm not trying to degrade you, okay?
Okay.
Are you 18 or 19 years old?
I'm turning 19 in 4 days. For 4 days.
No judgment. Do you still live with your parents?
Yeah.
Okay. You've never had like a job before, or like financial responsibilities that you have to pay?
No, I have a job. I don't really have a financial responsibility, but I have a job.
Okay. So once you move out and you're not living with your parents anymore and you have to 100% like financially take care of yourself, the problem is right now, and you're probably not going to believe 90% I'm going to tell you, but right now you're living in a state where 100% of what you do, or like 80% of what you do, is for your personal happiness. And you've never been locked into a part of your life where you're spending a large majority of your time on things that aren't self-fulfilling. So what I mean by that is when you move out, or I don't know how wealthy your parents are or what, but when you move out or you get out of college, you're going to have to be doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. You're going to have to go to a job. You're going to have to show up 40 hours a week. You're going to have to pay bills for shit that you might not necessarily want to do, like rent and utilities. And there's going to be large portions of your life that are locked off behind these gates that are just completely unfun. When you're spending a large amount of your time doing that, I think that you have a much greater appreciation for things in your life that are fun. Right now, people that waste their time, shitting away their lives on video games and taking part in all this stupid, uneuphoric, like hobby shit, the reason why that seems stupid for you is because you don't have any value whatsoever on people doing things that make them happy, because you can spend any amount of time you want right now on being happy. When you have like a full-time job and you're doing a whole bunch of stuff and all this shit is going on in your life, you got children to take care of, you got jobs, you got bills, you got girlfriend, all this stuff going on, it's really nice sometimes. Like there's a lot of value to be had in just chilling and just having a beer, watching your favorite TV series, even if it's something stupid like Jersey Shore, going to the bar, hanging out with friends, goofing off at a LAN and playing computer games. Like there's a lot of value to be had in things like that. But I feel like you're just not seeing it right now because you've never been locked in an area where you're forced to have no fun for hours and hours on end, day after day after day, week after week after week.
To a certain extent, no, not to a certain. I'm gonna. Okay, so number one, I do work from 11 to 5 days a week, and I'm doing it, and I'm getting very little payment because there's honestly very little money to be had, and I spend a lot of my time thinking about ways I can make more money because, like I said, I'm not getting very much pay, so I have to work through my own commission, buying and selling things. And
you don't sell knives, do you?
No, that'd be pretty cool though, but not really. I can't tell you exactly what I do, but it is very complicated. Not very complicated. It's very difficult, and I struggle with it a lot. And if I don't succeed, then it's I will be wasting my time if I'm not able to make what I'm currently doing a solid profession, which is. It all ties into my whole opposition to time wasting. And you're right, I don't have as many obligations as a wage cuck, but I do work and I do take it very seriously. And what was the other point? There were 2 or 3 other points you made. No, it was relative. Okay, so you were saying that the relativity of happiness is based on unhappiness, which I completely agree with, but I don't agree with the fact that people have to be happy. I think if you just follow the logic of happiness and unhappiness are relative to each other, then wouldn't extreme unhappiness or common unhappiness result in, I don't know, better ups and downs? If it is relative and you keep it level. I don't know how I would say it, but like say You're unhappy. Okay, just
say you're miserable all the time. That means that
exactly.
the few times where you're happy, you would appreciate that happiness more. Is what you're trying to say? I think.
Well, the extreme unhappiness, or whatever the one you said, the extreme unhappiness wouldn't be extreme unhappiness. It would just be unhappiness, and the level of happiness would just diminish as much, but you would still feel the same happiness you feel now, which is like in a way that playing video games is sort of like having an addictive personality disorders, because you're enjoying something so much, you're spending hours doing it. Now, I'm not saying doing it in... Now, this is the whole argument. This is where both our ideas, I think, convalesce into this agreement. And an addictive personality, an addictive or a habit that is going to take time away from your life and give you bad results, or is going to equalize your stimulation to like have this standard that is unrealistic to have in the real world, where you have to work and stuff like that. I think that's more negative than it is positive, because then you have to go into the real world and you sort of entrench back into this escapist mentality. And you see this all the time. You see it in people on Tumblr. You know, they work and they give all the money to Bernie Sanders and shit, and they have this little group of people that circle jerk them, and that's what gives them happiness. But in reality, that's in the outside world, that's not going to happen. So they keep going back to Tumblr. They keep what is it called? Social signal.
So wait, social what?
Social signaling. It's like when a white family adopts a black son.
Okay.
Virtue signal. That's what it is. So you get these clicks, or not necessarily clicks. Just for this example, you get this trend of people investing more and more and more time into something that's bad for them, verbatim, and it's just not good. Having an addictive personality is not good in any way, but it is relative, like I said, and that's what makes an addictive personality. An addictive personality is the chase of stimulation, rather than just working on your morals, working on what is right, doing what is right, even if it's bringing you happiness or sadness. Now, obviously, you don't want to do something if it's going to make you unhappy.
Hey guys, I'm a 18-year-old faggot who has spent his entire life playing video games.
That's where I find
and I know
meaning
everything.
in things. Now, other people,
I agree with me.
don't know other ways to think about it. That's the only way I can think about it, other than
tell me
what I imagine would be the hedonist perspective, which is just do what you want to do because it's fun.
So, I guess this is kind of like where we're not going to agree. I understand everything you're saying, and I at a point in time I agree with what you're saying, but the problem is that I think that happiness and personal satisfaction, I think these are things that function as an intangible currency that you definitely have, but the problem is, because they're intangible, it's easy to discredit or devalue them and not think much of them. So what I mean by that is because I've known people like this. Like, there are people that are incredibly successful. This sounds like a big meme, especially if you're somebody that's really poor, but there are people that are very successful with their work. They have a very good career. They do really well at their job. They show up, and everything in their life on paper looks fine. Like, you would look at a person like this and you go, oh, well, this person's making a lot of money and they're successful in their career. Like, yeah, this person is definitely doing really well. But that person is miserable for a variety of reasons, and they can be miserable because they don't have any hobbies, so they have nothing to do in their free time. They could be miserable because they don't feel like they're pursuing anything self-fulfilling outside of their job. And they could be miserable because their relationships are bad. That could be romantic relationships or friendships. There's this whole host of things that can make a person miserable, that can all kind of be measured if you had like a currency for your happiness, right? But the problem is, because that's a little bit more unseeable or intangible, it's easy to just discredit that and say, forget all of that. I'm going to spend 100% of my time going for that cash money, going for that big house, going for that successful career, going for those, diplomas or the knowledge or whatever. And I think it causes you to underrate that personal happiness, satisfaction thing quite a bit, I think.
Those are all great points, and I'm not disagreeing with that. It's just what you expect to get out of it. If you're going for happiness, do it for happiness, but don't expect to have. I don't know. If you, like, this is like I said, I think it's ideal that somebody would have something that they can be happy with and be productive with. Now, to many people, happiness is productive, but
I think to the large majority of people, being happy and being confident and having a good demeanor and a positive outlook on life, all of these things play into each other a lot, and they bleed over into every other area of your life, even if you don't realize it. Hold on, so I got a donation message.
Doing things you have fun with is bad because verbatim addictive personalities are. Stimulation seeking and stimulation over time is synchronized good and bad, and I know what I'm talking about because I'm working like 30 hours a week right now.
By the way, do you remember banning me a couple years ago for asking, I tried to bribe somebody into giving me your dick pic.
Nice.
I'm not gay or anything.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I just wanted to know, if it was still out there.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
What were we just talking about? I'm sorry.
You were telling me that I was right, and that you were completely rethinking your life now. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I remember
Take
exactly what we were talking about.
In life, people will often try to tell you the things you enjoy are addictions. Look after yourself. Fuck 'em.
The job that I don't expect you to tell me, but from what you've told me, it sounds like you have a job in sales, I'm guessing.
Not even
no, I'm learning a profession.
That competitive games have things to gain.
I mean, I do the work.
For example,
I work more or less.
I mean,
I would almost say it's free, but I do get a lot of perks of the job.
Performing under a stressful environment,
it's basically an
with
apprenticeship.
teammates.
I buy and sell.
Self-esteem,
Currently,
boost.
I'm not making enough money to do anything on my own other than feed myself and maybe pay for a car and gas and stuff like that. I could probably live in a car if I absolutely had to, but if I was ever forced to do that, I'd get a better job that pays better. The time I'm spending right now is not paying nearly enough for me to justify living in a car. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I thought you had a job in sales. Because of what you were saying, because you made it sound like you get paid on commission earlier.
Oh, I do, but it's not part of my job. It's just I do it to make money.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, again, it's hard to say if you haven't been there. That sounds really condescending, but, like, I think that your personal level of satisfaction and happiness with your life, I think that you'll notice as you get older that it bleeds over a lot. If you are incredibly dissatisfied, if you don't have any friends, if you are very lonely, if you don't have anybody to talk to, I think that you'll find that these things will start to bleed over and impact everything you do. Whether that's how much attention you pay while you drive to work, whether that's how well you perform at your actual job, whether that's interacting with coworkers or talking to a boss for a raise or whatever. I think that all of these things, I think that all of these things will be affected if you are, like, incredibly depressed or have an incredibly negative outlook on life. In my opinion.
No, I completely agree. I mean, it just sort of logically it makes sense because a lot of that is going to be. Yeah,
okay,
I don't know.
But you say that you agree now, but just earlier you told me that personal happiness and doing these things for nothing, it's all incredibly arbitrary, and the opportunity cost of not doing anything is just wasting time. Like, so do you agree or do you
relatively? Like right now, it might feel fun. Right now, you might enjoy it now, but in the future, you're gonna look around and you're gonna go, well, you know what? This is not so fun anymore, and you're gonna think, wow, this was a complete waste of time. Now, I'm not saying don't act on what you believe in the moment, but I think when I said, I said people above the age of 16 in my frog post, I said people above the age of 16 are still buying video games, laughing girls, and that's because at around 16, I think just about everybody by then knows opportunity cost, and they know, that's the whole point, is that it's all relative.
So do you think that what does laughing girls mean?
Laughing girls is like when you get a bunch, like, you pull your dick out in front of, like, a party, and they go, wow, dude, that's small. But it's actually just really cold out, and the pool's, you're still wet, you know what I mean? Have you ever had that, or no?
I guess I mean, I've had it before, but I guess I usually don't pull it out and wiggle it around when it's really small, but...
Well, okay. that definitely didn't happen to me either.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess, so do you still stand by that statement then, that playing video games ever when you're above the age of 16 is a waste of time? Do you understand? Here's a question, okay? It's gonna seem unrelated, but Do you agree with alimony? Do you think that do you know what alimony is, or how
Like
alimony works?
that's like when you marry somebody, or like somebody stays in your house and then they gives me debts after like you leave them, or what?
Yeah, so basically after you get divorced, the primary money owner will have to pay money to the person that was divorced after after you're divorced, right? The person that you were married to, you have to pay them a certain amount of money for some amount of years, especially if children are involved or whatever, after you're divorced.
Yeah, I know all about that.
Do you think that alimony is bullshit, or?
I think that you get exactly what you deserve, and if somebody is going to get into a relationship with some lady who is going to take him for a ride, then he deserves. I mean, that's I haven't thought about it long enough to have some sort of moral objection to it. Most of the things I believe is just, well, that's what you get. That's just what comes to it. And after the deed is done, or if you know full well what you're getting into, I support every outcome that comes to you. If you believe that you're going into, you know what I mean? I don't know how else to describe it other than I support people being righteous with their beliefs and acting ideologically, as long as they hear and interpret the opinions around them, much like I'm talking to you.
Okay, so do you think that, morally speaking, I guess to be a little bit more general, do you think that alimony is right, or do you think that alimony is just pretty much the woman taking the guy for a ride? Like, well, now that we're divorced, I want some of your fucking money.
More or less, I think, and now here's the thing. If you want to say alimony, I'm thinking of like the law that forces them to do it. But ideally, alimony. Now, I'm not going to say alimony per se because it's just a law, and a law is enforced. I think in a environment where you have two people that are related culturally and their families are close, which is the way I think all relationships should be, especially marriage, which is a lot of the case with alimony, is that whether it's the government. Now, the government forces people to do it because dumb people get into bad relationships, I think. That's my nuanced understanding of it. And I think, yeah, it's probably for the best that these people have some financial support afterwards. But I dislike that the government has to pay for, has to force somebody to do it. To me, that's just chimping out on a government scale, is when people, you force somebody to do something that they don't want. You force somebody to give somebody else your property,
Gotcha. Okay, so then here's I'm sorry, I promise I'm bringing this back. Why do you think alimony exists? Like,
I think it exists. Sorry, yeah.
What's like the purpose for alimony? Like, why does alimony?
Well, because a lot of people get into bad relationships, and these relationships, they're really naive going into and they don't know the other person, or that something changes in the relationship, so the relationship breaks, and maybe instead of somebody being, not swindled, it's manipulated by the other person who provides for the family, they have some sort of protection if they do decide to come out of it. I think that's one facet of it.
Okay. Hold on one second, I gotta think on them.
The dankest dungeon.
What game is this?
This is your brain on hold.
Doom.
Is this like a new one? It came out in 2016?
Yeah, it's pretty new, like a week old.
Fuck.
Okay, so the reason why alimony exists is actually because of that term you keep using, opportunity cost. So let's say that you have a man who earns $150,000 a year, and let's say that that man has a wife and a daughter, okay? Now, let's say that as a family, they make the decision for the wife to stay home and take care of the daughter, and the man will go home and work, right? So in this scenario, it's easy to say that, okay, well, the wife earns nothing, the daughter obviously earns nothing, and the man earns $150,000 a year. But in reality, it's a little bit more nuanced than that. The man doesn't actually earn $150,000 a year on his own, because if it was him and all else was equal, he would have to pay for things like childcare or, something for his daughter. He'd have to spend more time with his daughter, and he would have to, pay money, actual physical money, to make that work. But the reason why the man is able to earn $150,000 a year is because the wife in this scenario decides to stay at home and watch the daughter. So the wife is sacrificing her current career, her future earnings potential, and her free time in order to ensure that the man is able to continue working his job and continue to earn the money that he does and continue to further his career, right? So in that case, if these two people split up in the future, what's happening, the problem is when these two people split, they're not really leaving the relationship on equal terms. The man was able to continue to further his career and continue to boost his earnings year after year after year because of the sacrifices that the wife made in order to stay at home and watch the child. So when the wife parts from that relationship, the wife is essentially fucked because she sacrificed her job, her education, whatever, her time that she could have spent working. Now she's spent, 10, 15 years off of the job market, no education, no training. She's essentially needed herself. And now she's kind of fucked, right? Whereas the guy, because he had a wife or a slave or whatever you'd say, right? Because he had a wife to stay at home to do all of this stuff for him, he was able to further his own career, right? So alimony exists to protect people from those really imbalanced situations. The idea is, since the wife sacrificed so much of her time to let the husband be in the position that he's in, well, now and these roles can be reversed, husband and wife, doesn't matter, right? So now the alimony is kind of to level that out for the guy to kind of pay off a little bit of what the woman sacrificed so that the woman can kind of catch up, right?
Right.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, that's logically sound.
Sure.
That makes a lot of sense. I never really thought about it. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, cool. So if that makes sense, to bring it back, so the important part of that example is that it's deceptive because it looks like the husband is earning 150 grand a year because that's what he's able to earn, and the wife is earning nothing. But in reality, the husband is only able to earn that much money because the wife exists there to help him with things at home or with the daughter at home or whatever, right? Well, if we step back and we look at the happiness thing, that is something that plays the exact same role in your life as I guess kind of like the alimony would. So follow me here. It's easy when you're 15 years down the road, it's easy to look back and say like, man, all that time I spent playing video games or, fucking drinking beer with my friends and talking and shooting the shit, if I would have spent all of that time learning how to day trade or learning currency trading on Forex, or if I would have spent time reading on physics or whatever, I could be so much further ahead in my life. It's easy to go back and look at your life and say those things, but the reality is if you would go back to your life at those point in times and you would have said, hey, you're never allowed to have fun again, you're going to be spending 100% of your free time studying or learning a trade while you're not working, that's probably not a sustainable life that you would have been happy with keeping up for year after year after year after year, and it could have caused unforeseeable consequences in the future. Maybe it would have degraded your performance at your job and you wouldn't have gotten a promotion. Maybe you would have gotten a hardcore burnout from physics or piano or whatever you learn, and then you just wouldn't have wanted to do it anymore. There's like a ton of different things that could result from you being absolutely fucking miserable from your life all the time that looking back in the past you might not see how those things could have arisen because you're not giving yourself credit for the time that you spent doing things that are fun for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's like if you're dissatisfied with your previous actions, then you're just sort of projecting. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think the thing is, because of what I said earlier, where the happiness thing is completely intangible, when you look back on your life, it's easy to just say like, fuck, I didn't need to do all those things for fun. I could have spent so much more time doing other things. That's easy to say when you look back in the past because your happiness can't be measured on a meter or measured with a number in your bank account. But in reality, it's still incredibly fucking important to everything you do that you maintain some level of happiness, because without it, you'll be fucking miserable and it'll bleed over and impact a whole bunch of other things in your life in ways that you might not necessarily realize until you've actually been there and be completely miserable.
No, I agree with that. I'm not saying it's not relative, and I'm not saying that it's bad for people. Now, from a moral perspective, I think it's bad for people to do these things. Obviously, I've said that.
But why? Why? From a moral perspective, why?
Well, from a moral perspective, because that's not something I would do. I don't like hedonists. Nah, we already said, now this is where we differ. You said we're not going to agree on this.
Wait, when you say you don't like hedonism, what do you mean like any possible thing? Have you ever eaten a candy bar in your entire life? I mean, I watched your YouTube video. I know you've eaten candy bars before. Like, yeah, I mean, like, let's be, well, I'm not trying to be rude, but I mean, like, you say that, but like, I guarantee you that if I go into your closet right now, you probably have some clothes or some things that you enjoy more than others. It's maybe something you specifically bought because you like the way that it looks more than others. You're talking to me on a computer, did you buy a graphics card for it? Is it one you put together yourself? Like, if I go outside to your car, do you have like little ornaments or whatever hanging around on the fucking rear view mirror, or maybe a sticker or something that you like? Like, there are things that are hedonistic that everybody does, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. And I think that there are things that you probably do that's hedonistic. Do you ever masturbate ever? Like, do you ever look at do you ever watch a movie or a film or a TV show? You said that you still stop by and watch my streams sometimes. Like, partaking in these indulgences is just a form of hedonism, no?
Yes, but that's not coupled with an addictive personality.
I mean, I've already said that addictive personalities are bad, but you sound like you're trying to make these blanket statements that every single form of seeking anything, any kind of pleasure, is hedonistic and immoral.
Okay. Would you agree that this is the best outlet for happiness? For like, there's no other form of happiness or outlet for becoming happy that would be more beneficial for this. This is the ultimate form of or goal of happiness, that the current outlet that people are best spent viewing and participating in.
I mean, are you asking me if there's like a better form of entertainment that people could partake in, or what do you...
Sort of, like, is this the ideal outlet for entertainment that's going to help you the most, it's going to give you the most satisfaction immediately or for the time being, and it's going to take less time, but you're still going to feel it? If you're saying happiness is like a currency, but you just can't see it, then shouldn't extreme happiness be like the ideal? You want to get extreme happiness so you don't have to have longer happiness, right?
Well, I mean, that's a really hard... I mean, entertainment is subjective, so it's really hard to say, like, is there something that you could objectively be doing that'll be more entertaining than what you're doing right now? I guess I don't know how I would answer that. Like, that's a really difficult... Like, do you go to the movie theater, and if you have to choose between two movies, do you get, like, really stressed out that you might choose the wrong one, and now you've, like, fucking wasted all your time and...
Well, personally, I would feel that way if the movie turned out to be not as good as I expected, or I was circumspective about getting the movie and had some ambivalence about it. I would probably think that. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, but I mean, even a bad experience can be spun into a good one. If you go and see it with friends, I mean, it could be something to laugh at because it seemed dumb or was a way... Like, I've seen some bad movies before that I watched Taken 3. That movie was really fucking bad. But I'm not necessarily... did you see Taken 3?
No, but that's a good example that you just made. See, the difference is that you brought friends, so you made that experience better because that was the ideal outlet, is you had friends to go do whatever.
Well, but it might not have been ideal. Maybe there was actually a worse movie. Maybe I should have went and saw Sharknado instead of Taken 3. Like...
Of course. So now you know that maybe you should look into that. Maybe there is something that's better. So you should look for it. You should welcome other opinions about it and then challenge those opinions like you're doing now. And
yeah, but I'm not going to live my life thinking that, like, everything is fucked because I might have taken like a suboptimal decision at one point in time.
But don't you want to... That's how you learn from your mistakes, though.
Yeah, sure, but I think that, like, in terms of, like, entertainment, I think that it's a little bit scary. I feel like you're setting yourself up for more misery than happiness if you're worried that you're, like, partaking in, like, a suboptimal... Like, I watched 20 minutes of Crip stream yesterday, and then I found out that Raynad was streaming, and I should have been watching him instead. Like, oh my fucking god, what was I thinking? Like, I don't think that's, like, a healthy approach to entertainment. And again, it's not like your time is incredibly limited. Like, you only have, like... If you had 30 seconds a day to watch or partake in some kind of entertaining activity and you wasted it, then yeah, I could understand being a little bit more upset, but...
Yeah, you're right. I just realized it, just clicked now. You were completely right about saying I have a sort of privileged perspective, because I just realized that I think that's the difference between somebody who chases the feeling of happiness by, like, playing video games versus somebody who plays video games casually or watches videos casually or whatever the outlet it is because
Destiny,
I am happy doing what I do. And now it just clicked. I agree with that statement even more so than I did previously. And I think we can come to a mutual ground right now and agree that yes, now this is what I think this is what we agree on so far, is that addictive personalities are bad. Happiness is important in every facet of your life. It's relative to everything else, and a good happiness is good for everything else. And it's important that you have something that you work for that also makes you happy to do. And let me think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure That's all we've talked about so far, right?
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
Okay. By the way, I came into your stream the other day, and I heard you talking about Bernie Sanders and how he's like a really good guy, and I was just wondering. Now, I'm not gonna. If you don't want to talk about that, that's fine. We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. Knock yourself out.
Okay. So from what I've I did that 15-minute video about Bernie Sanders, but most of it's just shit posting and memes. What I'm curious about is, I've thought about this. I don't really have any intellectuals around me to talk about this part per se, because in real life there's a lot of people who won't say what they believe to an extent that it's actually like intellectual and not just arrogance. When Bernie Sanders says that he's going to give free, not free healthcare, when he says he's going to give free college by introducing higher taxes, this is what I have so far. To me, that doesn't make sense, because the reason people go to college is not to become intellectuals. The reason people go to college is to get
Reverted or KYS.
certification.
Yes, I am
so that they can get a
you.
good job.
You know nothing
But-
And not
about
necessarily
life.
everybody goes to college
Haven't
for
had
those
to
reasons.
support
There are people that go to
yourself
college
trying
because
to
they really
force
want
your
to
opinions
study
on how people
something, or
should
because they're
run
really passionate.
their lives, and you think you
But
know
you
how the
and I
government
both know
should
that's
be
not
run.
like
New Year's, kill
that's
yourself.
like the vast minority of people. At least people who are thinking pragmatically. Now, I'm not saying people don't do education as a hobby,
TFW,
but I'm
you
saying that
spend
that's
time
when
doing things
somebody
that
says
cause
go to
bad
college, they're
happiness
saying
to
go to
fellas.
college so you can make the shekels and become a big boy. And if everybody's going to college for free, then you're going to get a lot of supposed big boys who are actually competing with each other. But if they hadn't been competing with each other, if they hadn't all received the college for free, then they would be better off for it, in a sense. Like, the point is that if there's a large population of educated people, then the wage of that, whatever that is they studied, whatever profession they're getting into, is going to go down because people are going to be competing with each other. And that's the majority of people who go to college, is because they want to make a good pay. They want to make a good wage. And if everybody's going to college, it's not going to... I mean, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't see any way that a large population of educated people is going to help that field in any way.
I mean, like, there are lots of jobs that people can fill in. I mean, the United States has moved, like, hardcore to more service-oriented jobs and manufacturing jobs. I don't think that... I mean, like, there are jobs that people can get that aren't necessarily just flooding a single industry. Like, it's not like when people say free college for all, they want every single person to go to school and become, like, a comp sci major or whatever, and then fuck the wages in that entire industry. Like, even if people are going to college for free, like, the market still sends signals to schools for, what jobs are wanted or what jobs are unneeded, like, based on wages and any given profession, If 10 years from now, programmers get paid fuck all for wages, less people will probably go to school to become a programmer,
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. Okay, so it is. You just acknowledged that if more people are competing for the same job, the price will, the wage will go down, and
it's possible. But I mean, there are other jobs that people can work too. Like right now, we're having to import, or we are importing workers from like other countries to work some of our jobs, right? That's what part of this whole H-1B visa bullshit is about. Is the importation of workers from other countries. I mean, maybe we wouldn't have to do that at all if we had more people going to school.
I don't know too much about that. All I know is that the Mexicans are stealing my job and raping my city.
Wow, nice meme.
I'm not memeing, dude. I'm part of the 10%, okay, man? I'm not memeing.
I don't think Mexicans steal jobs from the 10%.
No, the 10% white in Los Angeles. Because every white person moved out because, I don't know, maybe California is just too expensive to live in, but if that was the case, then the Mexicans wouldn't live here. So it makes me think that they took the jobs, and they're, the wealth is more distributed. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess
we can talk about that.
I mean, like, do you think that there should be, like, then caps? Because if you take your example to the hyperbole, then, I mean, it kind of sounds like what you're saying is there should be caps. Like, only, like, 100 people should be allowed to go to school a year for this specific major so that we can force artificial scarcity so that... With what major?
They're determining how many people to accept into a major. They submit how many they're willing to accept per major. They don't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you can go to a different university or do something else.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm saying major by major, they do that. So if all universities do that, then there is, because nobody wants you to come to their school, get a 4-year degree, and then not be able to find a job after that looks back to the school.
yeah,
So
sure.
they do that.
Yeah, but not in the same way that he's talking about, where you would be enforcing like artificial scarcity onto a given major. Like, I seriously doubt they're doing that in fields where they're having to import workers overseas. In order, it's probably just to make sure that you don't get 50 trillion people coming in for like a certain major to your school, and then, or like in a job market that's super flooded. Like, I'm willing to bet that there probably aren't many schools that do that with like healthcare providers in places around the country that like desperately need nurses or doctors, or they probably don't do it with a lot of like the programming related degrees now, because that's a super fucking high demand thing.
Right, but they already see the skills.
Yeah, sure.
This is the dankest dungeon.
This Trumple just spent the last 20 minutes acting like a fucking retard just to bait you into a
I do
conversation
in the
about
sense that I
Bernie.
support a
He
union,
even said wage
and I
cuts
support people
earlier.
looking out for their best
Holy
interests. In that
fucking
sense,
shit.
I support people who are avid about socialism, as long as they know that they're gonna have to kill me if they want to try that shit in my hood. And I'm totally fine with these artificial supply and demand things that the government or a union can do.
It really bothers me. It really bothers me. I'm gonna make more assumptions just based on what you told me earlier. Do you have to take out a lot of loans or whatever for school?
No, I'm not going to pay the curricular Jew for my time.
So you're not gonna go to school at all?
No, I'm learning a trade.
Oh, okay. But your parents are still paying for like the majority of your finances right now, you said, right? You don't have any like financial obligations of your own, I think you said?
Very little.
Sure. It's kind of annoying, I guess, to hear you talk about like the evils of socialism when you're in a scenario where your entire life is being funded by somebody else, right? Do you see how that's a little bit irritating?
Yeah, we already went over this. I'm coming from a privileged perspective, and that's why I dislike hedonists, because hedonists don't have the good life, so they cherish it more. You know, it's like what's it called? Have you watched Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
You remember how in the spoilers, by the way? Should I not spoilers?
No, I guess about that.
Okay, so in the last episode that was released, there was this old guy, and he's kind of a cunt, but he's an idealistic cunt. So what he does is he says that when he was a younger man, he used to be interested in going out and making the shekels, and one day he was having some bitches and having some money, and he was having some alcohols with his buds, and he realized that it was just all like, why even, it's just like, this is not the way of the light, and this is not something Hitler would be proud of. So then he decided to go be a socialist. And God, what was I saying? No, can you repeat the question? Because I'm retarded.
I don't remember. You started talking about the Sparrow guy or whatever, about how he is pro-socialist, I guess, because he's a religious fanatic.
Yeah, but no, you said something that triggered that. What was the thing you said before I started talking?
Oh, that you have access to a really good life and your whole life is socialized, yet you're arguing that socialism is bad for other people that might not be in the same position?
Oh, okay. So here it is. Where we went back to the privilege thing and how I can't understand the plight of the wage cuck. I agree with that, but you look at the story, this hypothetical story that doesn't exist, but just think about it logically for a second. This King Sparrow dude, he gives up his life of making the shekels because he wants to feel good, and he goes for what makes him happy, or not necessarily what makes him happy, what he believes is right. And like I said, happiness could be that thing which he believes is right. From my perspective, morally, I disagree with an addictive personality, which I think accompanies this desire to be happy. And this is we already went over this. It might be just semantics at this point to go any farther into that topic. But what I'm saying is, if they're doing what is right, then it doesn't matter if it's happiness, as long as they are righteous in that moment and they can look back and they can be proud, not necessarily that they they can be proud of themselves for making the decision that they made, even though if the decision they made, they know better now, like in hindsight, but they're proud that they made that decision knowing what they knew. You know, be confident in yourself to make the right decision. But to me, that doesn't mean that I don't know how I got here. This is a big tangent.
Yeah, we're gonna drive us somewhere, get us somewhere, bring it home.
Okay, all right. So basically, these superdelegate things are going to cause Bernie Sanders to kill himself because the Democrat Party is rigged, even though they keep saying that the Republican Party is the corrupt ones, when we all know that's not true. You just fucking look at superdelegates. Hillary and Bernie came out with the same amount of delegates in, Idaho? And I don't know.
Do you think the superdelegates are better or worse than winner-take-all primaries?
Personally, I don't know anything about them. I just know that they're numbers. I mean, I know that they're numbers, and then it makes people mad.
You know that one problem on the Republican side is that you guys have winner-take-all primaries, where if you get 51% of the popular vote, 49% of the vote is erased, and all of the delegates will go to one candidate.
Oh, damn, dude. That sounds pretty fucked. But, I mean, that doesn't really affect me right now, because I know Trump's going to win, and I embrace it.
This kid says he's learning a trade. Shit.
I mean, do you think Trump's not going to win?
All day is not a trade.
Do you think Trump's not going to win?
I don't know. I'm not sure at this point.
What has he said that is racist?
Oh, lots of shit, but I don't think that really matters. In terms of just looking at it objectively, Trump's gonna have to overcome two huge deficits. One is his minority polling is fucking abysmal, and two, his polling with women is fucking abysmal. So in the general election, he's gonna have to appease both of these groups of people, and it doesn't seem like he's made significant strides towards either yet. Especially because he got in trouble recently with, he had a mishap. It was after the abortion thing, something else where he said something dumb, having to do with women, but I don't remember what it was. But those are the two huge groups of people that he doesn't pull well with, that he's going to have to start working towards. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I can see that. Luckily, no, yeah, you are right. That is a big problem. Like, you see this in every Western country. You see women destroying the country with their votes, and you know, it's very real. Then it could possibly be a disaster for this country, because ideally Bernie Sanders would win if Trump doesn't, but Hillary, the Hill Dog, she already took that shit from Bernie. So as far as I know, we're all in with Trump, and I'm hoping for the best. I try my hardest to shill. I go on Omegle. I put a little "Make America Great" hat on my penis, and I wiggle it around for people. And so far, I've offended a lot of homosexuals on Omegle. I don't know why they go to on Omegle so much. But
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay, dude.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got to hang out and talk to each other.
All right. I'll be sure to shitpost on your stream a lot more. Okay.
All right. Well, not too much, because that would be a little bit hedonistic and a little bit addictive.
That's true.
So just
wait.
Moderation.
Let me just say one thing, Steven. Yeah. Okay. Because I grew up with you, okay, you were whispering those sweet nothings in my ear and giving me hard-ons late at night. I think when I'm a millionaire, maybe even a billionaire, I'll look back on you, okay? And you probably won't be alive at that point, because video games will have rotted your eyes out and your brain will have holes in it from all the dank memes. But I'll give your son maybe like $10 million, okay? And I'll tell him,
that means a lot.
I won't tell him it's for me. I'll say, Destiny, your father, Stephen Bonnell II, he wanted me to give this to you. And he never told anybody about it because he was so busy dank memeing on the internet that he didn't want you to think any less of him for having all this money, this blood money that came from... Okay.
It'll be just like in Breaking Bad when Walt leaves money for his kids, except it'll be all your money, right?
No, it'll be your money. It'll be your money, man.
All right, gotcha. Awesome. Okay, thanks, buddy.
This is
Peace.
the dankest dungeon.